Hello and welcome to the Inside the Mind of Natty Rock. This is our first ever podcast episode, and I am super excited. Of course, Natty Rock, and we will be going inside my mind today, as we will be every week on Friday. And today we will be talking about this lovely little package that is filled with goodies from the one, the only Warner Archive. So we are going to be diving deep into my mind about movie history, classic cinema, 1930s, pre-codes, all these things that some of these things might sound familiar to you, some of them might not. And I am very excited to dive deep into my brain about this because I love movies and I love sharing my passions with you. So, welcome to the first ever podcast episode. I'm very excited. Let me give you a little preface as to what's in this box. Basically, as if you've been a viewer for some time now, even just a couple months, you'll know that I am a movie fanatic, to put it lightly and nicely, I guess. I am obsessed with movies, especially physical collecting of movies. And so I decided to dive headfirst into the Warner Archive collection. They house basically all of the or many old titles from Warner Brothers Studios from back in the day. And I have heard over and over again about this box from Serial at Midnight. It is another YouTuber that I really adore his channel. His name is Heath, and he is awesome, and he is super knowledgeable when it comes to collecting all kinds of niche films, classic cinema, and he does a podcast every so often. I don't think they have a schedule per se, but their podcast is called, hold on, it's on the tip of my tongue. I was just watching it the other day. I keep thinking Fresh Flavors, which is one of his segments that he does, but it's not Fresh Flavors. Hold on. I have actually linked it all below for you guys in the description because I really, really highly believe in Heath's channel. I think he does amazing work. He does a podcast called Classic Film Flavors every once in a while. And I seriously enjoy that podcast. It is done every once in a while, and it is done between him and his friend Vanessa Buttino, who's also a mega film buff, especially when it comes to classic cinema. So, in the spirit of loving Serial at Midnight and his podcast, Classic Film Flavors, with him and Vanessa Buttino, I have heard them many a times talk in their podcast and in their videos beforehand about these particular films, especially in their pre-code video, which we'll talk about, we'll get to. But all of these picks have been because of them and their work, and they are awesome. So that's why you see those two lovely people on the thumbnail. That's Vanessa and Heath, and that's who inspired today's video. Before I jump into this box, though, I will explain briefly more about the podcast, as this is the first episode. This is a weekly live streamed podcast. So we're going to have a topic, and we're going to be live streaming and taking people's chats and comments, just like our friend Crystal, who's been a long time friend of the streams. Hello, welcome, Crystal. Thanks for hanging out with me today. So I figured, as you know my streams, it's just gonna be a little bit more of an organized stream, if you will. Something that's gonna have a little bit more intention behind it, I guess, and so that you guys can hopefully have a better experience. And I just wanted to like clean things up on my channel, and I'm trying really hard to make it better and more appealing for you guys, and something that you guys can count on every week and kind of know what you're getting. And my stream is one of those things that you almost never know what you're getting. So I figured, let's take it one thing that I'm really passionate about at a time, and we'll go from there. Crystal says, a box. Boxes are always fun. Yes, they are. And Crystal says, smash those likes. I double dog dare you. Thank you, Crystal. I'm going to keep that up for a little bit. So, In this box are multiple purchases from the Warner Archive. Essentially, like I said, the Warner Archive houses many titles from as early as the 1930s in Warner Brothers history. And I'm very passionate about it because of Serial at Midnight and Vanessa Buttino making me more passionate about it. I've always been somebody who's been very interested in film, especially once I realized what TCM, Turner Classic Cinema, was, or Turner Classic Movies was on TV. And it's something that is a little bit daunting to get into at first because there's so much history there and there's not always a lot of access, unfortunately. So it's really nice to have Warner Archives available and to be able to do things like their sale. So they had a sale recently where their movies were 4 for 4.99, 49.99, excuse me. And so I went ahead and finally went head first into it when I found out that sale was going on. I think I also found out about it because of Serial at Midnight. Should we put a counter up on how many times I say his channel name? But I saw that the sale was going on and I jumped on it because essentially each movie was about $12 each, and then even after that, it didn't have to be exactly 4. After you hit that 4 mark, you can continue to buy more. So I think I bought 6 films, if I'm not mistaken. Most of them were because of Serial Midnight. One of them I know for sure was not because it was a movie that I saw on TCM a very long time ago and I really loved. So I don't remember all of the movies that I purchased. I also was having a hard time picking. I was trying really hard not to go overboard and spend all of my money on this sale. So, with that being out of the way, let's open up the box and I'll tell you more about pre-code movies, what that means, and a little bit of the history behind these movies. So, the box. The box. Yes, I blacked everything out so nobody can. I'm not going to dox myself, okay? So I pre-cut this, but I was super careful not to look in the box and I didn't fully cut it. You just heard that little. That was me. Also, can somebody tell me if the mic sounds good? Because this is the first time that I've used this mic on stream and I just want to make sure everybody's having a good listening experience. Did you like the little ASMR there? Okay, I'm gonna back up the mic a little bit. Hopefully, you guys can still hear me pretty good, just so you guys can see what's going on around here. All right, I'm gonna back up as much as possible to give you this showcase right now. Okay, so this is nice. I enjoy that there's like a little bit of packaging in here. It's paper packaging. It's kind of a nice sound. Don't you agree? Krista said your eye makeup is popping. Beautiful. Thank you. I tried. I got changed. I was gonna like show up to the stream in my work outfit and I was like, I can't. This doesn't even feel like me. I don't feel like myself in this outfit. So I changed into a tank top because like of course why wouldn't I? And I put some eyeliner on because I was like, I want to show up for you guys. I want to like look good, you know. I'm trying my best here. And Crystal's sound is great. Okay, good. I'm very happy to hear that. All right. I'm gonna not look and I'm just gonna like pull something out. I see that there's like an invoice I think on top, so that's saving me a little bit. All right, let's see. What is our first movie? Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my god. I've been waiting so long to show you guys this. You don't understand. It's been sitting in my house for I don't even know how long, waiting to be able to stream this for you guys, but I've been trying so hard to make my channel better and update, and you guys probably saw the new thumbnail format. This is going to be the new one for all of the future podcast episodes, and I'm really excited about it, but it's taken me a long time to get here. So anyways, that aside, the first movie is Footlight Parade, which is, I mean, look at this artwork. I'm trying to make sure you don't get that reflection, but look at this artwork. So this is a movie from the 1930s, and it is a pre-code film. I know you guys have heard me say that a lot of times by now, but let me just give you this artwork. James Cagney, Joan Blondell. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Ruby Keeler and Dick Powell are featured in this movie. Here's the back in case you guys are interested. Look at this artwork. Like, this is really something you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else but the 1930s. It's just beautiful. Can I just say I've tried to do that like finger wave hairstyle. It's not easy. It is not an easy look. to try to achieve. I failed at it. Crystal said, I love the artwork. Isn't it just gorgeous? So let's read the back, shall we? Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay. So the first thing that says I'm just gonna say this really quick. Dale, if you're watching and wooing from the living room, what the heck? Is this about my stream? What is going on around here? Stop it. I think my husband's watching the stream in the other room. And like, stop cheering. This is the madness. All right. Fast-paced Warner Brothers opus winds up with 3 incredible Bugsby Berkeley numbers back to back. Seriously, Dale, stop. I think he like texted me. Oh my god. I don't know if you guys heard any of that, but my husband just said, okay, I'm done. Dale. All right. So, I don't even know where to dive in with Footlight Parade. Essentially, Footlight Parade is one of those classic 1930s pre-code movies. So there's 2 vocab words, cinema vocab words, that I would like to just go over with you guys quickly so you guys know what's going on. And that is precodes and Bugsby Berkeley. It's very hard to say that man's name. Crystal said, I'm going to woo at home just for funnies. And said, Dale is starting a trend. Good job, babe. So what are precodes and why are they important? Precodes are 19 I don't even know how I follow up with that after that. But precodes are films that came once talkies were invented, aka cinema that was not silent, cinema that had the ability to have audio matched up to it. So once talkies were invented, and being set for wide release, it was a very, very expensive piece of technology to have, to implement, and to create. So film studios decided they needed to figure out how to make that money back and make it back quick. And guess what? The way that they were making it was spicy. We're talking spicy accountant. If you've ever been on TikTok, you know what I mean by spicy accountant. It's spicy, okay? Especially for 1930s. So essentially, in the 1930s, there was an era from debatably 1929, 1930 to 1934-ish, that movies were going crazy. And by crazy, I mean they were doing things that were very, very I'm gonna bring the mic over. It was very scandalous. There was, I'm gonna try to censor myself for YouTube. There was people doing the do. There was nudity. There was prostitution. I think you can figure that one out. There was, of course, violence. And to top it all off, people were even doing drugs. drugs, yep. In the movies, my guys, in the 1930s. Think about how wholesome 1950s is. Think about it. Think about how wholesome film and cinema and everybody was and how innocent the minds were. And then just imagine the 1930s. And yet they were showing body parts on camera, doing things that were incredibly crazy, especially for the time. They're still kind of, they can still be taboo in many circles today. But that was what pre-codes were, it was the time when that was all being gotten away with in Hollywood, and they were pumping out that sort of stuff real fast. They made the movies shorter so that they could make more of them faster and try and make as much money back as possible and recoup all that money quick as a whip. And so they did all this stuff to just be crazy and draw crowds, but what they ended up drawing was, of course, people who were very angry. And at that time, there was no rating system like there is today. There was no G versus R versus PG versus PG-13. That did not exist. Everybody just went to the movies together. It was just a family affair. You all got down, walked down the road, or if you were lucky enough to have a car, you got in the car. But most people were not rich. That was for very rich people. Um, you all went down to the movie theater with your family on the weekend. So imagine the surprise of these families who were the predominant um, demographic for movie theaters to walk in thinking they're going to see a wholesome film on the screen, and to suddenly see people's body parts doing things, doing the do, and showing everything, and doing droogs, okay? Uh, that didn't go well, especially at that time when everything was not like that. The only places that were having things like that happen were the big cities, like in Hollywood and maybe New York City, Chicago. But most of America was not Hollywood, New York, or Chicago. They were not experiencing these things on a daily basis, and they were pissed. And at that time, people in predominantly the church ran things real hard. So pretty much everybody who was a church member started rallying against all of the studios and forced them into creating a code. That's why they're called pre-codes, because it was before the code. What some people call Hays Code, or you'll hear it called the Hollywood Production Code. But we still have the glorious films from the 1930s to look back at and be startled at about how far they're willing to go in these films. And some actresses and actors who were very, very tame in their past careers and even tame afterwards. And you've seen some of their work later on, and you would never think that they did these things, but they did. And they're on camera forever. So that's what's so exciting about pre-codes, is because it's doing these things you never imagined. And something that I know that Vanessa and Heath over at Serial at Midnight have um shown me was one of the things that makes it so intriguing is that they're not so different than what we're seeing now. It's not, even though these movies happened quite literally 100 years ago. That's a long time. 100 years ago, a century ago, people were still doing I think we're like far enough in that it's fine. People were doing drugs and wanting to screw around and show body parts on camera, and do all the things that we see on TV today. Even, now it's become so normal that you can see it on TV even nowadays. But it's it's crazy that 100 years ago they're not so different from us. So that's part of what's so fascinating, is these people who, in a way, we've all been so detached from. People 100 years ago, what are they doing? They were probably on a farm somewhere doing God knows what, and praying and fucking nothing, right? Like, I feel like that's what people think about that time and earlier. Like, they were just doing something real sanitized, but they really weren't. They really weren't so different than us. So I think it's just so fascinating to think about a time that you would not think this would be happening, to see this stuff. It's just so fascinating to me. So this is one of those pre-codes, and this is one of Vanessa Buttino's favorite pre-codes, and this is why I picked it up. Um, and she's championed this one and more in this box as well. Um, so the other piece of info that you should learn about is Bugsby Berkeley. It's definitely a tongue twister. It's a person's name. That's the other piece of vocab for you today that I was telling you about. So, as I said in the little headliner, fast-paced Warner Brothers opus winds up with 3 incredible Bugsby Berkeley numbers back to back. So, um, who is Bugsby Berkeley? Why should we know about him? I don't know a lot about him, but what I do know about him is that this man made some scandalous things and some incredible things. So, if you ever picture really old musical numbers like 1930s, even some things even in the 50s, I can think of like one thing that kind of reminisces to it, and that is that one scene of Marilyn Monroe in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, I believe, where she's like having this big number and she's in that pink dress and there's like a bunch of guys behind her and they're all lined up and they're all like showing her off. It's that kind of production that Bugsby Berkeley would put on, or those ones where you would see all the beautiful women up the staircase and it's all lit up and they all look gorgeous and they're slinky and they're going down the staircase and singing and looking beautiful, or they're doing one of those crazy numbers and they're doing the same move together or whatever, what have you. But those like really grand musical numbers, that's what Bugsby Berkeley did. And that's what he's known for, but he's also known for doing them in a very scandalous way in the 1930s. And that is with showing body parts at the same time, which is wild to me. And like you guys know, I am a Disney freak. Like I am a very like I like things sanitized for the most part. So this is like so off kilter for me, but I'm just so fascinated with the fact that like this was happening. And like I just need to know that what they're telling me on YouTube is real. Like are Heath and Vanessa being real and honest about this? Like this is actually what's happening in these movies. What the heck? Um like what? So I'm just fascinated, as you can probably tell with how excited I am. Um in case you guys want to hear a little bit more from this. Um, Footlight Parade is a sheer cinematic joy. In this Depression era romp, a timid stenographer removes her glasses and wow, she's a star. Oh my goodness. I don't want to read the rest of this because I just want to go in with it into it not knowing, but it's so funny. I love it. It's great. And they do have special features on here, which is excellent. I'm very excited about that because I love and adore my special features. So that is the first one. I won't get into the other ones as hardcore as I just did with this one because you just learned everything you need to know. So, as I said, Footlight Parade is our first pick, and I'm so excited. I don't know what show I'm gonna end up going for first, so we're gonna have to try to figure that out by the end of this. I have all weekend now. I have all weekend. I'm so happy. This is like exactly what I needed after this week I've had. It's not been fun. I'm gonna take a couple comments real quick before I grab the next one. Chris said, I think he might like the movies, or he's falling and can't get up. Mood. Crystal said, so it's a movie about an average Saturday night? What are you doing on Saturday night, Crystal? Because it's definitely not that for me or any of my friends. Crystal's going wild. She's having some escapades over there. Crystal said, 100. You think they were farming, going to church, and trying not to get sick? Exactly. Like, what? What the hell were they doing for real? Shocking. All right. So, okay, next one. I just saw a peek of it. I know what it is now. Oops. It is another 1930s pre-code. It is Gold Diggers of 1933. This is so exciting for me. So this is another one that, of course, Vanessa Buttino, girl, if you're watching this for whatever reason, you are electric and so passionate, and I love that, and are super inspiring. You literally got me to buy all these movies. So you are doing something super special with Heath, and I really love what you guys are doing. And I can't impress upon anybody more that you guys should go check it out, and that what they're doing is amazing, and it really is like contagious how much passion they have for this. So this is one of her picks again, Gold Diggers of 1933. Of course, I wonder what year this came out in. Maybe like 1905. Do you think maybe like 1953? Huh. I wonder what year this came out. I have no idea. So um this is the next one. I was a little hesitant about this one. But I had to pick it up. So here's a little excerpt. The We're in the Money and Shadow Waltz musical, whose riches you can take to the bank. Um, First little line we'll give you. A Broadway producer has the talent, the tunes, the theater, and everything else he needs to put on a show, except the dough. Not to worry, say Ginger Rogers and the other leggy Coreens decked out in giant coins. Everyone will soon be singing "We're in the Money." So yes, this is gonna be one of those big. There's gonna be lots of big musical numbers with women prancing around doing God knows what and just being fabulous. So I'm excited to check this out. And all of these, one of the nice things is that these are all like short movies. They're not the 3-hour long movies that we're like a little bit more accustomed to nowadays. So it's going to be easy to get through all of these. So this one is 98 minutes long. It's not long at all. It's what, an hour and a half. And this one is 103 minutes, so also about an hour and a half. So they're going to be really easy to get through. And which is probably, it's like double edged for me because it's like I feel like by the end of it I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, I wish there was more of it. But who knows? There is also multiple sequels to Gold Diggers of 1933. So if I really like it, I could also check those out. I don't know which one to grab. I'm gonna grab this one. Okay. It's so hard to pick. Okay. Oh, I did buy this one. Okay. I was wondering about this one. So this one is not a pre-code. This is not a 1930s movie. This was not a recommendation from Serial at Midnight, actually. This was one that I found on the Warner Archive website, and I was very interested and excited about. And that is Gypsy. It is a musical from the 60s. Yes, 1962, the year that my mama was born. And it is a Broadway classic starring Natalie Wood, which is really exciting for me just because I remembered my grandma talking about Natalie Wood like growing up, and of course her tragic passing. Um and so yeah, I was super intrigued by this. So the premise on this, I'll read you the whole thing because I saw the whole premise and I saw the trailer. Um Everything comes up roses when you let this Broadway classic entertain you. Ringing with the showbiz sass of its Julie Stefan Sondheim score, the film version of the Broadway hit Gypsy takes you on a grand vaudeville tour. It sweeps you up in the roller coaster relationship of Louise, the wallflower, later to blossom into sophisticated stripper. Yeah, a stripper in the 60s. What the heck? Gypsy Rose Lee and her ambitious mother, Rose. Carl Malden, blah, 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 blah. So it's supposed to be like a really good movie, but basically the movie premise is that if you've never heard of this movie, it is that Gypsy Rose, or that's her stage name, her mom is not great. And so she's forcing her daughters, she had 3 daughters, and she forced her daughters into showbiz to make money for her and to get famous because she was living vicariously. Um, and so and this movie, I after seeing the stuff for this movie, I actually have some true crime stuff to talk about that ties in with this, and I'll have to talk about it in a different it'll be a different Inside the Mind episode. But basically, in this film, like I was saying, the mom's not great. She's pushing her kids into showbiz, and then she has this one daughter that I guess she doesn't think is as beautiful or as gonna be as famous or talented, and the other 2 leave, and then Gypsy ends up being the real success and star of the show, and mom's trying to leech off of her, and Gypsy's struggling with that and struggling to get out of that situation. So And I think she does try to get out of the situation. So it's that whole web of stardom and getting rid of toxic people in your life. So I was just really intrigued by this premise. And of course, like I said, Natalie Wood, she's beautiful and super talented, and anything with her just makes me think of my grandma, so I have to pick it up. It's funny, those random things that you would just randomly connect with people and you don't know why, but it's just one of those things. All right. Oh my god, there's so many movies in here. I'm so excited. There was like one or two left, but no. Okay. Okay. So this is another one of those pre-codes. This is 42nd Street. This came before Gold Diggers of 1933. Um, and it's about the girls going on Broadway, which is like super fun and glitzy and glamour, and I love that. I love that, like, old Hollywood glitz and glamour. 1930s glitz and glamour is like nothing else. 1930s Hollywood glitz and glamour, I should say. Um, I love it. Look at this font on the back. A naughty, gaudy. Wait. Yeah. Okay. I almost said haughty, but I meant to say body. A naughty, gaudy body movie musical landmark. I love it. Meet a dewy-eyed ingenue, a gee-whiz tenor, stuck-up stars, hard producers, brassy blondes, and shady ladies from the 80s. That's so funny that the 80s, they don't mean 1980s. Like, do they mean 1880s, or are they saying a street or something? Because 42nd Street, like I'm hoping that they don't mean 1880s, because that's so strange to me. That's really funny. They're all denizens of 42nd Street, belting out ageless Harry Warren slash Al Dubin songs and tapping out Bugsby Berkeley sensational depression lifting production numbers. The put on a show plot spins merrily, full of snappy banter and new faces. Ruby Keeler, her movie debut, Dick Powell, and Ginger Rogers. The show stopping numbers shuffle off to Buffalo. You're getting to be a habit with me, and the title tune, Still Dazzle. 42nd Street shows that good times never go out of style. I love that. That's a really good, actually, a description. I like how they did that. So yeah, it just looks fabulous. They have some really cool photos on the back, a beautiful musical number, and a cute little kiss at the end. Um, so that's that. Let's check out the next one. You know which one to pick? All right. Oh, so excited about this one. You guys don't understand how excited I am about this one. I was hoping that I bought this a while ago, and then I try to forget what I bought because I wanted to like have good impressions for you guys. But I remembered this movie again, and I was like, I really hope I bought this one on the Warner Archive sale. And I did, and I'm very pat myself on the back real quick because I'm very happy about it. I got Gaslight. If this movie sounds familiar or strikes a chord with something that you've heard from about lately, I'll explain. So, if the word gaslight maybe strikes a chord with you, especially with the internet as of the last couple years, we've heard the psychological term, gaslighting a lot. If you've never heard of the term gaslighting, it is, as I said, a psychological term, and essentially it means a highly systematic form of abuse and control in which you systematically tell lies and say things to get the abuse victim to question their sanity and reality. Horrifying stuff. Um, but it's been thrown around a lot, and we've a lot of us online, including myself, have thrown it around. but it's hard to, like, it can't I wish we had a better word. Like, gaslight could be its own word, and then we could have a better word for people just manipulating and trying to get you to believe that something that's false is true and getting you to believe that what you're thinking isn't reality. That isn't so systematic. That's what what makes gaslighting different is that it's a systematic thing that happens over time. So, the reason I had to cut and take Crystal's comment. Crystal said, "Gaslighting, I married him many moons and a different lifetime ago." This movie would probably struck a major I feel like I don't know if I should do it this way instead. But this movie might strike a major chord with you then. But the reason we have the term gaslighting is because of this particular movie, which I'm gonna double check what year this came out. 1944. So this 1940s movie that came out. Um, so that's this movie is the reason we have that term gaslighting is because it came from the movie Gaslight. Essentially, this movie is about let me see if I can do it. This man gaslighting this woman. And the way that he does it, and the reason it's called gaslight, is because he plays with the literal gaslights in their home and around them to start edging into making her not believe reality and making her think that she's crazy and that what she's seeing is not what she's seeing. So, this movie is where that all came from. And as soon as I found out about that, I was so interested. You guys know that I'm very interested in psychology and true crime. If you guys have been around for that, Crystal was around for that era. I took a break from it because it's also incredibly draining. But I'm just fascinated. In case you're wondering who stars in this, it is Charles Boyer, Ingrid Bergman, and Joseph Cotton. And so the little quote says, "Good, scary fun all the way. Lights flicker and dim, footsteps sound from a sealed off attic. Mysterious events only vulnerable young Paula sees and hears. Make her fear she's losing her mind. Exactly what treacherous spouse Gregory hopes." So that's your little teaser for this. It looks fabulous. Like I cannot wait to I can't wait to watch all of these movies. I really, really can't. Like, how could you pass that up? It sounds like amazing. Oh, it's gonna be that one in particular is gonna be all the other ones are like fun romps, except for Gypsy. That one's probably gonna be like a little bit of an emotional ride. But Gaslight for sure is gonna be that's gonna be heavy. All right. On to the very last film, and I know which one this is because I specifically picked it out and I kept thinking about it. And that is Meet Me in St. Louis. This is the only film that I purchased that I've seen before. As I said before, I watched this on TCM. I actually watched this movie with my mom, and it's not necessarily like the most story-driven type of movie. This movie makes me think of if you guys have been to Disney, I know Crystal has. um, reminds me a lot of the Carousel of Progress. It's a year in the life of a family essentially. And you kind of just see them go through their things and shift through the seasons and stuff like that and like love happens and whatnot. It's not like a super plot thing. It's just a year in the life of some people and lots of music ensues because of course Judy Garland is in this movie. So of course Judy Garland has to have some musical numbers. But it's a really fun little romp and it's kind of one of those movies you don't have to think too much about. You can just like feel like nostalgic twinge and just enjoy. Um, and I really love this movie. At first when I watch it's I have a few movies that I like. At first I watch them like, oh, whatever. And then you think back on it, I'm like, oh no, I actually kind of really like that movie. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to put this on one day when I just kind of just want to have something on. Um, I just love this movie. And of course, the musical numbers are everything. And again, if you've been to Disney World, you'll know one of their iconic songs. Clang, clang, clang goes the trolley. Oh, Ding, ding, ding goes the bell. Zing, zing, zing goes my heartstrings. From the moment he saw me, I fell. I saw him. Oops. But they sing that song. They sing the Charlie song at Disney World, and this is where that's from. If you're a Disney nerd, there you go. This is another movie you can watch. Not just Hello Dolly, which I do own. We should talk about that eventually, which is the musical that you see in Wall-E. But yeah, this movie is fabulous. We love this movie. And I do have to pay a little tribute to the titular song because I I can't I can't go by without singing Meet me in St. Louis, Louis, meet me at the fair. Don't tell me the lights are shining any place but there. We can dance the hoochie coochie. You can be my tootsie wootsie if you'll just meet me in St. Louis, Louis. Meet me at the fair. So there you go. That's your little musical bit for the night. I hope you guys enjoyed my unboxing of these awesome 6 Warner Archive movies. They're all on Blu-ray, which makes them extra awesome to me because that should mean that the quality should be pretty good, which is really nice. Oh, that kind of bothers me. All of the movies Oh, I kind of hate that. All of the movies are black with gold lettering except for Gypsy. Come on, guys. Like I understand this was like the poster, but like why would you Wait, even Meet Me with Saint in St. Louis blah, blah, blah. Even Meet Me in St. Louis has the black spine. Why didn't they do that for Gypsy? That's super upsetting. I understand why they did it because of the lights thing, but huh. Like it was right in the middle too. Like when I picked it up, it was like this. I don't like that. Mm-mm. We're gonna just. You know what? It'll work out great because it'll be at the back because it's the oldest one or the newest one. The newest one because it came out in 1962. We're gonna fix these to be in alphabetical order. Actually, we're just gonna do it that way. I'm gonna do it in oldest to newest. When is Footlight Parade? Footlight Parade came out in what year? I don't see a year on it. 1933. Also 1933. Okay. I believe. Did these all come out in 1933? Wild. Okay, so there you go. So these are all of my brand new Warner Archive titles, and I'm super excited about it. Thank you again to Serial at Midnight and Vanessa Buttino for having that amazing classic film flavors podcast and introducing me to many of these movies. Not all of them, but at least 3, I believe. I don't remember if I learned about Gaslight through them or not. I don't think I did, but I know that they talked about it more. So I appreciate that. I love this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I hope this was a fun little look. I might do a condensed version of this, and my laptop is about to die. So this is a really good time to head on out. I really appreciate you guys coming out for the first ever episode of Inside the Mind of Natty Rock. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope to see you guys again next week when we talk about me, a Navy wife reacting to Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, we're going the movie route again, and we're going hardcore. From a fun little romp time to cold, hard war. But I hope you guys enjoyed this again. I hope to see you guys soon. I'm going to take a couple comments and I'm going to head out. Chris said, I didn't know you can sing. Beautiful. Thank you. And said, thank you for sharing with us. Smash those likes. I double dog dare you. Thank you, Crystal. If you have not yet hit that like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, especially subscribe if you've never been here before. I really would appreciate it. Especially if you're interested in diving deep on more things that I'm passionate about. Hopefully my passion showed in the video today. Um, so yes, we will be diving deep more into movies. We'll probably talk about maybe some true crime in the future, travel, just a little bit of everything. So if you're interested in a different, I guess, hot take, we'll call it a hot take every week, then I hope you guys come back. Thank you guys again for watching. I hope to see you guys next week on Friday, and I will see you guys really soon. Stay safe out there.